Well, hello there, it's me, Generic Pie, back with the second game in my round 2 matchup against DMang17 in the 2025 War of the Ring World Tournament. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the first video, I lost while playing as a free people in a rather brutal game in which I hit almost all of the red tiles and pretty much every step on the way to Mordor. So will I have better luck as the Shadow? In some random unrelated news, next month I'm moving to Australia, so pretty big life change up. So I'm not sure what that's going to mean for this channel. I do have a laptop, so I will actually have more free time, so I might be making more videos. But probably won't have. I may not have video. Probably just be doing slightly crappy audio, but we'll see. We'll see. But very exciting about times. Anyway, let's get into this thing. So, I started out with Pits of Mordor and Give It To Us, and DMang had Fear Fire Foes and the Grey Company, which is kind of rough starting, because Fear Fire Foes is pretty cool if you can get it going. But yeah, let's see what happens. I decided to go for Zero Eyes, which is really like not me. I've always been a one-eye guy. Because I really hate it when you go 0 eyes and then you don't roll any eyes, which is exactly what's happened here. But luckily, the free people only get 2 movement. And to be fair, you know, there's a lot of arguments to be had and discussions to be had around, like, if they do get 4 movement and you get loads of stuff going on militarily, sometimes it kind of balances out anyway. And with 2 movement, if he wants to move 3 times, he has to give me a ring, which is also beneficial to me. So DMang doesn't dilly-dally, moves the Fellowship straight away. Yeah, just puts the die in the box. I decide to, since I have 2 musters, I want to get my guaranteed minions, so I go for Isengard. Moves again for free. I get the Saruman Wizard because I know I don't have to worry about any minions. Companions being put on the board. You know, no Gandalf the White, no Aragorn. I started doing army moves. Pretty standard stuff. So I decided to go for basically, because I've got Pits of Mordor. I want to send this army up here. I'm planning to hopefully muster in here before I go north with Pits of Mordor, and then send this army west. I'm not sure where this army is going to go yet. I'm going to send it somewhere, maybe to Minas Tirith, maybe to Lorien, maybe to Helm's Deep. But I decide to, and that also means I can use Pits of Mordor also in Morannon to kind of stock up this army combined with Gorgoroth. So it works quite nicely, I think. But then DMang does this very tricksy little move, which you don't see that often, but is in this case is very smart, because this is the army that I would have moved with these dice, would have got it going, and now I can't attack into it because I have used all my musters and Sauron isn't at war. So it's puts me in a bit of a fix. I can't remember what I did. This again, I played this about a week and a half ago. So I decided to draw a card to see if I can kind of get some value out of one of these cards. Draw into Half-Orcs and Goblin Men. And DMang passes. What did I do here? Okay, so I really don't want to move this army yet, because I don't want to commit before I play Pits of Mordor. So I decided to move this army here and kind of consolidate in Morannon. DMang uses a ring to move the Fellowship, and then so he's got 3 free moves, and then I use a ring to get Sauron to war, and that's kind of 2 reasons. One, because I think I don't have any particularly great use for this character die. I'm intending to play Pits of Mordor first thing next turn. Between that and Half-Orcs and Goblin Men, I can make this army really strong and go for Woodland Realm with that army. Beyond that, what else am I going to do? I could move the Morannon army once, but I want to just make sure I can 100% get Sauron to war. So maybe I rushed it. Maybe I could have just done a pretty standard move. But I was thinking about using Pits of Mordor here to get the full 10 stack. Hence, I decided to use the ring. I then draw into Lure of the Ring and Olokai. So I got 2 forward mustering cards straight away. So my Pits of Mordor plan isn't quite as necessary now because I now have 2 forward mustering cards. Meanwhile, Guards of Citadel and Ent and an Ent card for the free people. And slightly awkwardly now, I don't get any good die to play Pits of Mordor because I want to use this to get the Witch King, probably, if I remember correctly. And I mean, I could play this Pits of Mordor here. Let's see what happens. I seem to recall there was some kind of rationale. So he moves Gondor down. Okay. I think I hold on to this die because I want to. Guess I'm kind of wanting to see if I can get an army to war to get the Witch King. So I start moving these guys up north. What do I do this turn? I can't really remember. He moves. So I think I don't want to attack into North Athenian or South Athenian because that gives him a really good use for all his muster dice. And he can just start mustering the hell out of Gondor. And I really don't want to just give him a load of like musters, really valuable musters. So instead I decide to kind of bide my time and make it awkward for him, not give him like a really... I mean, okay, you can do some decent stuff with these dice. You can do some kind of half army moves. But I think if I attack into in towards Gondor, I give him like a really excellent use of these dice. You can start mustering Dol Amroth, you can start mustering Minas Tirith. So I instead decide to go for I think I trumpet the north to war to try and get the Witch King that way, and basically just hold off here and give up on the whole Pits of Mordor plan because I feel like it's not as necessary anymore. So I go for Old Forest Road, no card, I get my hit, he misses. The north are now 2 steps away from war. I decide to take Carrick and move this guy up here. Also now 1 step away. I go for Dale, no card. I could have played a card here, but I think none of them are really worth it, I don't think. I luckily get my 6. He gets a 6 back, so 1 hit. And now I can get the Witch King and put Woodland Realm under siege, I suppose. So yeah, he still doesn't have a particularly great usage for his musters. So I imagine I probably attack Woodland Realm first and then get the Witch King. Yeah. Decided not to leave anyone behind because I don't, until the dwarves are looking like they're going to be close to war, I've got nothing to worry about. Decides to use that die on Rohan, which is interesting. Oh yeah, because the reason I didn't want to bring the Witch King in first, because that would have activated all these guys. So in theory, he could have used that to put Gondor to war. That probably would have still been a waste. But anyway, so yeah, I get the Witch King, and I decide to put him in here because this army, I don't know when I'm going to draw like good Palantirs to play Olokai and Half-Orcs and Golemen, so I'm not in a huge rush to attack Woodland Realm. So instead, I decided to move the Witch King here and then use it so I can kind of I can cycle cards potentially in North Athelian and get that going, and also I can just, you know, basically I feel like I would just get more use out of the card cycling down here than I will up here. Draw into Lidless Iron Stormcrow, pretty well. It's a great host could be useful, and Weeper of the Swifter and Help Unlooked for the free people. I get okay, so he gets this roll that is screaming Gandalf the White, and I get a kind of quite heavy Palantir roll, which is useful for using my forward mustering cards. Moves the Fellowship, they're missed. I play Half-Orcs. Fellowship's moved again. They're hit, and it's a 1. So do you kill Gandalf for a 1 here? I think 100% yes, you do, because you've not been hit for 5 moves, and he does. Yeah, so that is, I think, definitely an easy decision. I play Olokai, so just, yeah, getting those Palantirs, getting some use out of those. I go for North Athelian, decide not to cycle cards. I could have played the Great Host here, but I figured that's a really good card to play up in Woodland Realm. And so, yes, funny, my whole plan initially was all related to Pits of Mordor. I'm just going to use it for a desperate battle. So yeah, I decided not to play a card. I think these cards are all quite handy for combat when I'm attacking strongholds. So I just murk this lonely idiot in North Ithilien. Eat shit. Gondorian. But I do leave one guy behind because I don't want this other guy, this other shit eater, to come and sneak in my back door. What do I do here? So he must elite into Minas Tirith. Little do I know he also has guards the Citadel, so not looking good for MT. I do have I've got quite a nice lot of attacks here, so I can do a lot of different things. So options, I'm thinking about using this to, I've got two options. I can either just sit on Minas Tirith and stop it getting out of control. I think what I decide to do is I don't want to just lead this, because, you know, they're at war. Mordor is pretty empty. I don't think I can scoot this army too far away. So what I decide to do, I think, is to put this army on MT and then send this army to kind of get a double like kind of a pincer on the two elven strongholds. So before Woodland Realm puts the elves to war, I'll put this army on Lorien and also just kind of sit on Minas Tirith to stop it getting out of hand. I think that was my plan. Yeah, that looks like that's the plan. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just marching this army over towards Lorien. Keep going. Use the other half army move to do stuff up here, because I'm going to need to ultimately reinforce this. I'm probably going to want to take Erebor at some point after I take Woodland Realm. So yeah, continue joining those armies. He gets scanned off the white, of course. And with my last move, I put Minas Tirith under siege rather than Lorien. So there is a danger of power too great, but I don't want him to be able to muster any more in Minas Tirith. And you get any leaders or anything sneaky in there. So we go on to turn number 4. I draw Denethor's Folly, so very, very useful card in this situation, I think, against a strong Minas Tirith. I think that's really handy. Rainwaves Abroad, always useful too. So a very overdrawn hand here, unfortunately for the free people, but you've got some pretty useless cards. You can get rid of Grey Company and something else. Decides to get rid of We Prove the Swifter. Do like holding on to We Prove the Swifter. Having that up my sleeve. I probably would have got rid of something like Fear Fire Foes over that. I think it's always having either that or Gwahir up in your arsenal is always powerful. Okay, so then I get the super muster heavy turn, 3 eyes. But luckily for me, the free people can't do that much this turn either. They don't have a particularly good role. They play guard straight away. I think with an army this small, I would have been inclined to hold, because I don't think an army like this is going to take an army like that in one go. You're probably going to have to go slow, reinforce. So I might have held on to guards to try and get full value out of it. But having said that, they got to play something this turn, so maybe, yeah, you got to play something. Start getting the Southrons down. That's a handy thing for the musters here. They muster in Dol Amroth. I think my thinking at this point is not going to probably go for Dol Amroth. You know, Dol Amroth with time to muster, plus with those 2 very powerful mustering cards. Like, why risk it? You know, it could just be like an endless sinkhole of dudes. So use this army to try and take down this quite strong Minas Tirith and hold Pelargir. Try and get 3 points here. Southrons and Eastlings fully at war. Fellowship moves. They are hit. It's a 1 reveal. So nice to get a reveal. And then I get the 2 for Moria. And he decides to take a random, actually, which is a bit risky. I think you're still, for a 2, when you still got a pretty, you know, I think it's a reasonable risk, but I think at this point I'd probably be inclined to get at least 1. I think if it was a 3, I'd absolutely take a random. But 2, especially when you've got Athelas in hand, actually, yeah. With Athelas in hand, I would eat the 2 and then use this to play Athelas. I think that's a nice combo, because otherwise Athelas is clogging up your hand. really risking losing our Strider here. But luckily for DMang, it's just Gimli, just the pesky dwarf. I put Lorien under siege. DMang hides the Fellowship. I start mustering in Moria because I want to. I don't think this army is going to be big enough to take Lorien. I want to get some. At some point, I'm going to want to muster this up a bit, and then also if it's big enough, I can then use it to march down south as well. So yeah, he keeps mustering in Dolamroth, which is I'm happy for him to do that. You know, I'm not planning on taking it, but I think he needs to do it. I decide to finally go for Woodland Realm. I was hoping. I think. I guess I could have sent the Witch King up here earlier, but because of maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have sent the Witch King because I didn't end up using any cycling. But I was kind of worried the Witch King might get stuck up here and I might not be able to get him down south. Anyway, whatever. I think I do this because I've just got a fully stacked hand and I'm holding Great Host and I don't want him to play Thranduils. So I'm just thinking hopefully I can just take down Woodland Realm in one go, join these two armies up and then go for Erebor and not even need the Witch King. Because Great Host, there's only 3 HP there. I only need 1. Like, that should help a lot. And Great Host against Field Wall, that's a nice matchup for me. So I get my hit. He gets no hits back, so that's great for me. I only need 1 more hit. We had a little bit of a mistake there. I don't get any hits, he gets 1 back. I can just keep pressing. Eventually get the 6s I need. So that went really well. I'm really happy with that. Draw Orc Patrol and Threats and Promises. He gets Axe and Bow and Aemir. Quite a Palantir heavy turn against a movement heavy turn. So that's quite, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a nice roll for the free people. But you are holding some cards you want to play. You want to play, yeah, it's a pretty nice turn for just really getting the free people moving. Can you get into Mordor this turn? 1, 2, 3. In theory, you could get in with a ring if you get really lucky, or relatively lucky. Against One Eye, it's not that unlucky. So Fellowship moves, they're missed. I decide to play Orc Patrol to try and slow them down here. I really don't want them getting into Mordor this turn, so I just want to try and get a reveal. Remove that possibility. I think I decided to wait, maybe, rather than rushing it. Don't know why that was. Maybe, I mean, what difference is it going to make? I suppose. He plays Axe and Bow. I have a think. I play Denthal's Folly. Kill a leader in Minas Tirith. Moves again. Hit, and it's an eye. Nice. Nice. So Axe and Bow is removed. Fellowship is revealed. Pelargir, no card. Sure, why not? Kill the guy in Pelargir. He gets no hits back. So pretty bad dice so far for DMang, it feels like. No, not terrible. Well, these look accurate, so wait. 11 combat, is it that few combat dice? I feel like the free people have rolled more combat dice than that. Maybe I'm just imagining it. I suppose there are only 3 guys up here, so maybe not. But anyway, yeah. Not crazy. Pretty average dice overall. Fellowship's flipped. Maybe I was holding on to Orc Patrol to try and reveal later on. So wait, at some point here, I think I was happy. I'm trying to think now. I think I was happy that he played Axe and Bow, because Axe and Bow meant that he didn't have the option, the potential, to try and get into Mordor this turn. If he hadn't played Axe and Bow, he could have tried to move again. Then if he hadn't got revealed, then moved again. So maybe I was holding on to Orc Patrol for that eventuality to try and reveal him potentially into Mordor. If the worst came to worst. Or actually, no, I would have used it prior to that. It would have been in like Daggerlad. Anyway. So now I decided to go for Minas Tirith, play Desperate Battle. He can't play cards, and I get a really nice roll. 4 hits. He gets 5 hits back. So a very bloody battle. I draw Hill Trolls, so I'm getting all of the forward mustering cards. I've had all the forward mustering cards within how many cards? Like 7 cards. That's really good for me. I accidentally try and go before when it's not my turn. Play Hill Trolls. I decide to do 1 in Lorien and 1 in Minas Tirith because I've got this huge army here that I'm going to use to reinforce at some point anyway. So, and I want to get elites into Lorien to ensure, because you know he could get Kellerborns, he could get a Power to Grey, he could make Lorien like an awkward for me. So I just want to get some elites in there. DMang says, "Geez, you've got some handy recruitment cards." So yeah, there's no denying I've had some pretty good luck so far this game. I consolidate in Dale. Pass. Play Ring Race Art Abroad. Where am I going with these ring wraiths? Okay. So I think I did this to do a double army move so that I could... I wanted to take Iron Hills to make sure that didn't become an issue later. So I think a little bit risky. I'm kind of gambling on, not the fact that if I don't roll character dice in the future, Ring Race would be a way of kind of circumventing that because I wouldn't need a character die. I can just play Ring Race to get the Witch King, wherever I need him. If I need him in Erebor, if I need him in Lorien. But I thought like, well, this will be slightly more efficient, and I'm probably going to roll a character die at some point, hopefully. And this is just made a nice couple of moves. Fellowship moves. They are missed, so they're right outside of Mordor now. Slightly surprised I didn't play Orc Patrol at some point on the lead up here, but whatever. I guess I chose not to. So I go for Minas Tirith. I play They Are Terrible. I get 3 hits. Bloody hell. He gets 1 back. Press draw. And draw into Palliative Orthanc. And I get the 6. So combat's going very well for me so far. 2 very easy strongholds. That could have been a very hard one. I did get absolutely arse blasted by Desperate Battle, but all in all, pretty smooth sailing for the Shadow so far. Denethor's Folly is gone, and we go on to turn number 6. DMang draws Mithril and Kindred, and I draw Deadly Strife and Phlox. DMang declares in Daggerlad, pretty all set. 2 eyes added to the hunt, so I've got 3 eyes in total, and I don't get any character dice, so that could prove that is awkward now because I've taken Minas Tirith and now I can't get the Witch King anywhere. So that was, I'd gambled on because I don't have any rings either. So I took it as a kind of a slight gamble, and I think that was a misplay. There's only, it's only probably, on average you should roll at least 1 character die, but it's not a guarantee, and not rolling 1 is pretty harmful to your game, more harmful than having a slightly inefficient army move. So yeah, I think that was a mistake on my part. I should have probably used, I think I used a Palantir for that, so I should have just used the Palantir to play Orc Patrol instead, and done this slightly, and then just held on to Ring Race for this turn. So DMang moves the Fellowship, is missed, so he's now getting into Mordor. I attack Erebor. He cycles cards. Oh no, didn't mean to click that. That was an accident. Okay. So he drew into Aemir, and now is trying to decide what to get rid of. So a little bit awkward to draw. When you've got a full hand, you want to be drawing cards. I guess what can you play here? You could play Rise of Theoden. Probably safe to play Mithril. I'm not sure exactly what DMang's looking for there. Gets rid of the Help and Look For. which doesn't really have an obvious kind of usage, to be fair. Not bad as a no quarter. So I play the Palantir, trying to get a ring out of him, hopefully. Then I can actually move my Nazgul. But he doesn't bite. I now play Orc Patrol to try and reveal into Morannon, hopefully get a couple of tiles. Draw 3. And again, DMang decides surprisingly to go for a random. So again here, I would, because when you're holding Athalas, I'm going to eat the 3. You know, you've got the gamble of hitting Strider is kind of double, is actually weightened further by the fact that you're holding Athalas, because if you lose him, you lose the efficacy of Athalas. So doubly risky, and it does hit Strider. So I think that was an unnecessary gamble at that point. Which you've got this Palantir, what else are you going to use it for? You guess to play Mithril, but you can play that next turn. And I don't have any red tiles in the box anyway, I don't think. I think I actually threw away a red tile. I think I was going full military because I was hardly hitting him on the hunt. So I decided to just go full military. So yeah, when I saw that, I was very pleased because I think that really, because at the moment, if he has Strider and gets lucky dice, you could have a very, very fast mortar track. And at the moment, with my inability to move Nazgul, there's no guarantee that I take both Lorien and Erebor and hold Peligir. So yeah, a little bit tricky, potentially. So he musters again in Dol Amroth and Lamadon, so he's thinking about retaking Peligir, clearly. I move Elites to Moria to make absolutely sure that I can take Lorien when I attack it later. Mithril goes on the board. And south and east, Eastern's Elite to north Rune. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm mustering here in case I need to reinforce Erebor. You know, I might need to use like a Shadow Lengthens or something like that. But in the case I draw a Shadow Lengthens, I think, you know, it could be really useful to have some reinforcements for Erebor. And yeah, he starts marching towards Lamadon and to take Umbar. And I decide to march armies here. So this is a little bit annoying. I do want to make sure that I cover Umbar just in case I get some apocalyptic turn and I just roll like 7 Palantirs and he can just like march an army from somewhere into Moria or whatever, you know, like just one of those freak occurrences. So yeah, good play there, just wasting my time basically. I draw Shadows Gather, Warm Stone Torso. Shadows Gather is obviously super welcome. That's really, really handy for reinforcing wherever I need to reinforce. Could be Erebor, could be Peligir, depends on how the game plays out. Go on to turn 7, Elven Cloaks and a Power 2 Great, so good timing for a Power 2 Great. I'm literally just about to go for Lorien. Fellowship goes into Mordor. Let's have a look at the pool. So the pool is it's pretty just like a standard pool, really. It's got a bit of everything except for blue and red tiles. Are there no blue and red tiles at all? No, literally none. Okay. So again, I don't roll any character dice. So yeah, really regretting that mistake I made earlier. And he gets a lot of movement. However, I have Day Without Dawn. I've been holding on to Day Without Dawn for a little while. Maybe like 2 turns or something like that. So naturally he moves. 1 reveal. And thank the Lord I have Day Without Dawn. And I can shut it down. Because that could have been the game, you know? That's 2 extra die. I mean, yeah, that's a hide. That's 2. You can really start churning your way up the mountain there. You've got a lot of HP. Would probably, I mean, kind of puts me in a position where I'm pressured to kind of win the game this turn almost, because he could easily have won it next turn. So yeah, that was huge actually. That was huge. Really, really big. Especially in combination with the Power 2 Great, because that really, and the fact that I can't move my, yeah, God, I think probably would have, like, that could have been pivotal. Plays Power 2 Great naturally. I get the mouth. That's great. It's gone. Start moving armies. So I'm kind of willing to give up Peligir, knowing I can take Edoras. And I figure I've got at least, I've probably got, how many turns do I think I have? So I'm kind of counting on winning next turn. I could have marched this army south and tried to fight for Peligir. But I guess I decided to go for Edoras instead, which is less dice efficient. Fellowship hides, and I start marching these guys across. So I do put the Rohirrim near war, but I can easily just march into Edoras, and this guy goes close to Erebor. Draws into Candles of Corpses and Return of the Witch King, and I get a blue tile. No, sorry, other way around. Ents and a King Brandsmen, so a bit late for King Brands, and Ents not looking like that type of game. Accidentally, what's he get rid of? Gets rid of Elven Cloaks. Yeah, fair enough. I might have held on to that. I do crucially get that character die, which I've really, really, really needed. Really important that. And DMang uses Rise of Theoden, so that's irritating because this army would have been absolutely fine to take this otherwise, but now it's like, you can lose that fight. That's not like like unthinkable. Maybe part of the reason was I wanted to move his army here is because it is a Shadows Gather away, potentially, if I need to reinforce. I don't know. That's probably just thinking about hopefully just taking it easily. Anyway, so I move my leadership around. I split everything up, so I get half the army here, half the army here. Put the big boys up in Erebor because that's the stronger, the more difficult stronghold to take. And obviously I've got the mouth here to cover in Lorien. The Fellowship moves, draws an eye, goes for random, gets Pippin. Is revealed. So yeah, pretty unfortunate. Not much movement this turn for the 3 people. And I go for Erebor. I've got some good cards here. Got some nice range of cards. I've got a Devery I can use here. Got a Swarm of Bats, Onslaught. I think I had to get rid of. Sorry, I didn't see what cards I used to get rid of Power to Great. I think it was a Deadly Strife maybe. That was the only army card I had, and I wanted the Shadows Gather just like is so valuable for recovery purposes, and I think I had enough military cards. So I think I got rid of that and some other rubbish from the character deck. So you get Devilry against Valor. Roll 5s. Good rolls from me. Lucky. He gets 1 back. Sorry, 2 because of Valor. I press draw into a Desperate Battle. Desperate Battle against Shield Wall. Roll pretty good again. 4 - 1 against. So yeah, that's going to do the job. But anyway, so yeah, I managed to take Erebor very, very easily. And we made a slight error, but we carry on. He keeps mustering in Lamadon, preparing to take back Peligir. So I'm still hopeful of winning the game. I think if I can take Lorien this turn, then I can just play Shadows Gather, and then I can just take Edoras, and then I win the game, regardless of what happens in Peligir. So as long as I can take Lorien, I basically won the game. I need to take it in 2 dice, that's all. No. Yes, because I can use this to play Shadows Gather, and then I can use the mouse ability to attack. So yeah, I have 2 dice to take Lorien, and then it's GG. Go for Lorien. Swarm of Bats, so cancel the advantageous. I roll 3 6s. He says really has a single combat not gone your way. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I've been pretty lucky today. He rolls a 5. I press. And I play Onslaught. I get 1 hit. He gets 1 hit. Then I use 4 in Onslaught, and I get 1, which was very close actually. That could have been a bit. I mean, I still would have just pressed and gone for it, but it could have been awkward. But anyway, yeah, get the 1 I need. Take down Lorien, up to 10 VPs. But yeah, weirdly, this is the weird thing. I'm only +2 on 6s. And only +0 on 5s. I'm +6 on 1s. It doesn't feel like it. I'm not sure if I've ever had a game where the dice have felt so good, but on paper are so average. I've just rolled lots of 1s. Maybe, I mean, I guess I rolled pretty badly in the hunt. Or I rolled badly in fights that didn't matter. I don't know. Like, seems it's really weird. And he says, yeah, missed a good amount of hunts. That's probably why. Yeah, so guess that's it. But I feel like I wasn't rolling on that many dice in the hunt. Anyway, so he attacks from Lamadon into Peligir and rolls no hits. I get 3 hits back because I'm rolling on 5s. So that's a good start for me. Oh, I advise him. He downgrades, so he only has 4 dudes attacking. But I advise him to take his casualties differently. I'm probably being a bit too generous, but it's partly because I'm like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking I've kind of got this game wrapped up. So anyway, he presses, so now it's 5 against 6. He gets 2 hits. I get no hits back. No, he gets 3. I get 3. And then it's 2 versus 1. I stay. He gets none. I get none. He gets 1. I get none. So maybe my generosity hurt me there, because I think if he was rolling on 4 dice rather than 5, I might have actually won that fight. But I don't see how I just can't win the game here. I didn't even bother to leave anyone in Lorien, thinking I can just always move these guys here if for whatever reason I needed to cover it. Now I've got a big army here against one guy in Edoras. I draw a strategy card and I draw a Great Host just to kind of rub salt in the wound. And I attack into Edoras, play Great Hosts. So Nameless Wood doesn't even matter. But oh, so this is the one where he gets 2 additional hits. So I do get my 1 hit that I need plus Great Host to mean I definitely win the fight. And then he doesn't get any hits, so that's unlucky. So could have got 3 hits there, and that's it. GG. So interesting. Yeah, in my memory, it was a kind of a more straightforward game than it was. Because it was really I hadn't really taken stock of how important that Day Without Dawn was and how crucial that was. Without the Day Without Dawn, I think because of his dice, I probably would have won it anyway. Maybe. I'm not sure he would have quite got over the line potentially. But it would have been very, very, very close. It would have been on step 4 probably. And maybe with a ring, it would have got him over. If he played rings on both turns, potentially. That could have been enough to do it. So yeah, maybe I would have lost. Because I really didn't have any cards up my sleeves to attack the Fellowship. So yeah, if that had been the case, I would have probably lost by one very silly little move of just trying to use a Ring Racer Abroad for pure efficiency's sake when I needed to hold it as insurance. So that's a lesson I need to remember. Just don't gamble on something like that. It's not worth gambling on. But yeah, not a very good game, I don't think. Pretty just like Fast Shadow Military against just a straightforward race, really, in which I got pretty lucky in the combat and had some good cards. So yeah, I still can't believe how close these dice are, though. Like the dice are the same. Felt like I got much better combat dice than him across the whole game, but guess I just got the dice at the right times. All right, well, thanks for watching. I will share the 3rd game in this series, which we haven't played yet, so we'll hopefully be playing this sometime in the next week or so. And hopefully it's an exciting one. But yeah, have a good one, everybody. Cheers for watching. I love you. Bye-bye.